Most of us are a lot more close to being unhoused than we are to being rich.
Right now, more so than ever. Any random citizen is one paycheck away from joining the curb.
That fear is not like made up.
Gentrification transforms an area in which its original residents reside. Those same residents typically do not benefit from the grand economic shifts that are happening around them, but rather they are displaced.
It led to the deterioration of a strong black neighborhood that was under siege. We need your house. We'll buy any house, any condition, blah, blah, blah. And people run into hard times, and they would sell. You know, artists have been moving out. First they move in, and now they're moving out because the machine. We buy houses.
Thank you. I was inspired to start Punks with Lunch because I was working as a fine dining cook in San Francisco and seeing the disparity of people outside of the restaurant experiencing homelessness and the people who were patronizing our establishment. It affected me some kind of way, so I decided to get a few friends together to make lunches, and it kind of grew from there. We realized pretty quickly that people needed more than just lunches, and so we started a harm reduction program, Needle Exchange.
We provide 20 needles, clean cotton, cookers, alcohol pads, vials of water, tourniquets.
As of now, we operate one site and do mobile outreach to 6 encampments.
I was doing Punks with Lunch, which is amazing, and I love them so much. Since Punks with Lunch does outreach in so many encampments, which are just like growing and growing and growing, they really didn't have like the supplies or the capacity to go out to Wood Street. And they used to go there every week, and it was manageable. But now, 200 people live over there, and 200 is a lot. So they have to expand so much to keep up with how many newly unhoused people there are.
I'm trying to recover my life and claw my way out of this sliding, slippery slope. Near impossible once you get to a certain level. The programs are defunct, so I decided to make my own progress and create something we could all do together at the Wood Street People's Collective. You know, being punched in the face repeatedly, so my lip came off, and I've had my lip come off twice, and I've got extensive scarring right here, which personally out here, everyone's like, Maeve, you're still beautiful. I'm like, woo, beautiful. I'd be Miss America, the homeless lady. But, and I wasn't happy with the DNA strand, so I'm just redoing that. I do like the moon, which resembles, you know, is my statement of her. And the universe behind it, the blackness, the beautiful blackness, and the stars like diamonds, though they're not diamondy right now. But it glows in the dark. All my paintings always have different light effects, so it changes, but it's in process. I don't need compassion, I need understanding and respect for my struggle. And I want to avail myself to bridging those gaps. And down here with these piles and with the people trying to help us in the struggle, we're like the new sports team, you know, and that's important. That's responsibility. Oakland wants us to do well, and I want us to do well. I don't want people to fear us, though they should fucking respect us. ask us what our fucking experiences are like. We are no different. There's a lot more wisdom in these streets than you're going to find in your classroom or from your next door neighbor. These are people that have lived the life. We're founding people. I'm the founder of the Wood Street People's Collective, and it's one of the things that I am most diligently proud of, because I'm contributing something to the community of Oakland, and Oakland is Mecca.
Given the fact that many feel as if the city of Oakland is not doing nearly enough for its unhoused population, community outreach groups such as West Oakland Punks with Lunch have proven to be a critical resource.
There is a reason why there has been an increase in homelessness in Oakland. And what the city refuses to acknowledge is that it's due to classism, racism, and gentrification.
Other communities are not going to build housing, are not going to build affordable housing, do not think it's appropriate to cite homelessness facilities in their communities.
This policy isn't new, it just formalizes what has already been going on in Oakland, the evictions and pushing people around and displacing them and moving them to areas where there's less visibility. Moving people around during a pandemic, creating more congested environments, goes against what the CDC has said is best practices, and it is completely inhumane and does not take into consideration people's safety and people's health.
I'm part of the SMC Tenants Council, and that's like council that was organized mostly because of people being unable to pay rent due to COVID-19.
There's been 350 evictions in the last 5 years that SMC has done to people, and that's not right.
My landlord, he was just kind of the face of gentrification in this neighborhood and moved a lot of like working class, like black and brown communities out of their homes during the 2008 financial crisis. And those folks who have been displaced are now living in encampments, a lot of them. And then now this eviction management policy is displacing them again. Everything is so interconnected, you know. Comes to City Council on October 20th, which is next Tuesday. And unfortunately, our City Council members aren't really not on our side.
These people have been fucked out of housing because of the extreme housing crisis. And now they're getting fucked out of the only space they have, and we're not letting it happen. So that's why we're here today, to interrupt this shit, because it's harmful. And these are our most vulnerable population, and they need our support.
We have to hire in-house to do the serious cleanings of the encampment more regularly, to make sure that our unhoused residents are not living in squalor, and to make sure those who live adjacent to those are not having to endure the overflow that sometimes gets out of hand.
It was amazing to see about 90% of the comments be against the EMP.
The city of Oakland has an ethical obligation to treat its most vulnerable residents with dignity.
I am calling today as an organizer with Love and Justice in the Streets to ask the council to reject the proposed encampment management policy.
This policy will further harm, traumatize, and endanger thousands of our most vulnerable community members.
I urge the City Council to reject the proposed encampment management policy.
The current situation is leading to tremendous problems for the housed residents of Oakland. And I think it's critical that the city approve it and implement it.
I understand the concerns of people who are housed, but those of us who are housed have privilege of being housed.
Unless we are providing safe and affordable housing, which I hate to tell you, but the city of Oakland is not providing that. We have no right to tell people that they cannot be homeless on the street. It seems like we are trying to appease homeowners rather than provide services for the people in our city who most critically need them.
We're experiencing incredible noise in our homes day and night that we can't escape from.
These kind of policies cannot coexist in a city that values social justice and that values equity.
It was just very telling to see the city kind of favor business owners and landowners over what the general population and people experiencing homelessness were saying was inhumane.
It's the same thing. We're the new second-class citizen. And it's indicative also of the ordinances they just came up with. Did they realize when they were drawing those ordinances up for the well-being of Oakland that they resemble Jim Crow, and that's just one step down the fucking slippery slope?
It's one thing if there's a handful of homeless people down the street who are living in a tent and it's all managed. It's another thing when it's like ridiculous, total out of hand and unsafe and unhealthy. And so it's not just an aesthetic thing, it's a health thing as well, health and safety thing. As well as like certain parks have kids playground equipment, like what we call playground equipment or tot lots, those kind of things where kids are where in some parks it's a natural thing for kids to go to. A homeless encampment there probably does not make sense.
It's like you can't be within so many feet of a park. Well, what if you got kids? What if you're a little old lady or a little old man? What if you're a couple? What if, you're not they just don't like the way we look. Well, then give us a place to take showers in it. I'm not talking a fucking shower truck that costs $250,000 a piece, right? There's 4 of them, and it's $1 million a year for 2 showers and 2 washer and dryers and 2 dudes to give you a hard time while you're trying to get a shower. I'm not going to take a shower in the fucking street. Yeah, and then they take our water and then they dump it in the street. And that's what you get. Washer and a dryer. They really go into a lot of this shit fucking blind and wasting a lot of money. Here's what we need, okay? The showers can be done in a cargo container, right? And we could make them. And we could make a business out of that. And the city could buy these showers and place them.
With the encampment management policy, they're trying to be like, okay, this is the reason we're doing it. It's because of all of the trash is creating like a safety hazard, public health issue. So they're like, okay, we got to move these people out of this spot so we can like clean up their trash because there's hella trash here. The thing is that when I'm talking to people who actually live in the encampments, they're saying this is not just our trash. Like, yes, like a little bit of it is, but like a lot of people come and dump their trash here because it's cheaper to go just down the street to the encampment and dump off your shit than it is to like go to the dump and pay for that service. They've literally seen the cops come back and like dump their trash there. I'm just trying to tell folks like, yo, if you see people dumping trash, like film it. Like you got a camera phone, a lot of people do. Film it.
And as much as the piles are, trash in the streets and blah, 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 in the industrial area, it lends to survival. It gave me directives on how to progress, how to stay sane through building my own loft, as I called my curbside loft, and I found these
If the city will not listen to the people, which it is obvious at this point, we're going to have to mobilize in a different way. So right now we're looking at how do we mobilize the general public to have eviction defenses, or at least cop watch when these evictions start to take place.
Apparently they came and they swept out this side and left.
The two public works, there was a car public works there. This 310 was there. They moved it. All the stuff that is also that person, we moved. This person's mattress, they took it. They didn't have to because they were here to move stuff. That was just a petty fuck you to us, probably at that point. And we moved all that person's stuff. Yeah. So, it just shows that anyone can do their non-malicious community shit, without a license.
The encampment management policy is part of the middle prong. It's not the whole effort, and nor should it be by any stretch. And so we continue to work on prevention. We continue to do the best we can for more below market housing. If anybody is looking at the encampment management policy or the middle prong overall as the only thing they're looking at, then they're doing a disservice to everybody.
The people who are experiencing homelessness have the answers to solving homelessness, and they're just not being reached out to.
Oakland is a hard-working, industrious place, and our fucking unhoused people are hard-working and industrious people. Always busy, never just sitting on their ass. If they are, they're usually over the age of 50 and they're just taking a break. And I'm hoping that with this campus plan, we can bring everyone to the table and really launch a public awareness and interactive environment so that people on the curb can pursue their happiness more clearly.